My name is Martijn van Schelven. I'm owner, founder of Geldvoorelkaar.nl. And Geldvoorelkaar is a crowdfunding platform based in the Netherlands. And we're up and running for about 4 years now. And we have funded for approximately 35 million euros to approximately 500 companies. I saw that a change was needed between lending and being financed, being funded. And in some of the cases I see that the traditional way of banking we knew doesn't cut it in all possibilities there are. So I see a direct link between on the one hand the investors and on the other hand the lenders, and a bank is not always necessary in being funded. I saw this transition already 7-8 years ago. I was working at the bank and I saw that a lot of the small medium entrepreneurs didn't get funded, and I was inspired by some individual cases which me inspired to think, how can we put funding together in a different way? And basically we are doing now what the bank was supposed to do. Direct funding, knowing in which company you invest your money in and all the benefits that goes with it. I started Geldvoorelkaar.nl with my co-founder owner Edwin Adams. In the first 2 years of our organization we worked together. After that the first credit raters accompanied us, and they do a checkup on the questions we get. And nowadays our team exists at approximately 12 people, of which 6 people are credit raters who speak to the companies, the owners of the companies we fund. Right here at the office there are 2 people working at the administration. We have 1 general manager, Daphne Habits, who is most of the time talking to accountants and intermediaries. Of course you have Edwin and me, and we have 1.5 person on doing the IT. I don't think there is a real difference between peer-to-peer and crowdfunding. There are a lot of talks going about the difference between peer-to-peer and crowdfunding. Personally, I don't see a real difference. It's all about crowdfunding, being funded by the crowd. Whether it's donation-based, lending-based or reward-based, I see it all as crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is the main stream in which you can have some differences and diversification in the different ways being crowdfunded, but to me it's all crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is mainly just being funded by the crowd, as simple as that. Small medium entrepreneurs, but also consumers. Basically is our target group the entire Netherlands. Small medium entrepreneurs in all phases of their being, whether they are a startup or already an established company, doesn't really matter. Everyone is our target group, depends on your need of funding. In the Netherlands we are different from our competitors because we offer crowdfunding based on a lending basis, based on an annuity basis. So investors receive their money and in return receive interest through an annuity. We also differ because we try to, before we publish any company, we do an extensive research and checkup on the company. Not everybody does that. We do. So that's our main difference between us and our competitors or colleagues. The way we fund the companies and the way we look at the proposals offered or published on our website. Right now we get is our business model based on the success fee we receive on the project being funded. But we look at other possibilities as well to try to bring in more diversification in our business model as well. Trying to invest in possibilities we can offer based on crowdfunding mindset, maybe on insurances or other financial possibilities we can offer. So in 2 years' time we will offer a more extensive range of products. Biggest challenges are being professional. It sounds easy, but it isn't always that easy. As being professional, try to keep up with the innovations that are made every day, and also being accepted by parties like the AFM or the Dutch Central Bank, but also the big banks in the Netherlands, with whom we try to cooperate instead of being competitive. Try to cooperate with banks, trying to cooperate with government, trying to cooperate, and that's a big challenge. It's a big difference between traditional way of banking, because in traditional way of banking you go to the bank and you say, well, I need money, and the bank says yes or no, but especially in the Netherlands nobody has to know about it because it involves money. But with crowdfunding you say publicly, I need money, help me being funded, so that I can raise my company or invest in this or that. So the transparency and the openness is the big difference of being funded. Central and local governments have to participate because to become a sustainable model you need to have volume. Otherwise it will remain a niche or alternative way of being funded. Personally, I think that crowdfunding has a lot of advantages above the traditional way of being funded. But you need to have local governments or central governments who are cooperative in developing an alternative system in which we do not depend on banking alone, because the last few years the crisis has learned us that we must not depend on the banks alone, because it means trouble if there is a crisis or what. So the dependency must be brought back, and there's also a commitment of the government needed. Stimulation or whatever, because otherwise it will remain small and alternative, and you have to be mainstream instead of a niche. If you look at 10 years of now, 5 or 10 years from now, I seriously believe that 40 to 50% of all small medium entrepreneurs are being funded by crowdfunding. They can learn from us a lot if you look at transparency. Say who you are, show me what you got, show me what you do, the use of internet and the laagdrempeligheid, the easy accessible, and the banks just the last few years the banks just put one barrier after another, but it's all about transparency and easy accessibility and simplicity. Try to be simple. Most of the bankers didn't understand their own product, but it all starts by understanding your own product. So keep it simple. And personally, I think there are a lot of possibilities in cooperation between traditional way of banking and a new way of banking which we offer. So we can make each other stronger instead of being competitive towards another. Being a totally accepted way of funding, not an alternative way of funding, but a total accepted way of funding, in which entrepreneurs have a choice whether they choose for being funded by a bank or being funded by a crowdfunding institution or whatever, but a completely accepted way of financing. And nowadays, right now, we still are in an early adoptive stage, and we have to grow towards a socially accepted way of financing.